so before Uncle Bill died. I don't know just what night, because I wasn't there. I wasn't in the room at the time, but I was told. A couple of boys went in, maybe your dad, I don't know. Anyway, they said that they come talking into the room, and Bill was saying, Bill said, Ken? Ken? He called Ken twice. Uncle John says he thought the voices were probably Kathy's husband, Ken. Do you think Bill would be asking for Kathy's husband, Ken? No. I think my Bill would say, Ken? And he always thought that the day or so after Uncle Ken died, Uncle Bill said the girls took him out for something, and when they brought him back to his room, he just got this feeling that someone was there. And the girls said they did too, but no one was there that they could see. And he always thought it was Ken's spirit. Back to see him one more time. I don't know. Everybody has things like that. But about the third day or so after he died, those senior pictures, you probably don't remember. All those years before TVs on the wall and stuff, I put the senior pictures up as they graduated, the ones that are in there on my wall in there where you sleep. Those 5 pictures been up on the wall right here for 20 years. Okay? About the third day after Ken passed away, me and George were in there asleep, and we heard a bang. So we got up and walked all through the house like you do. We didn't find nothing wrong. Didn't see nothing wrong. And so the next day or so, next day I guess, I went to clean up, straighten up the house and junk, and Ken's picture was down behind the thing right there. The rest of them were all there, but just Ken fell down. Why? I don't know. I put it back up. It never come down again. But things like that happen, and you don't know why. And Bill always thought that the spirit can come back. And people believe that their spirit can come back in someone else. And I definitely believe that's why I hate, because you kids text. I think it bothers us seeing you text all the time, because you don't look at someone when you talk to them. When you look at someone in the eyes, you can tell if they're happy, if they're sad, if they're doing something wrong, if they don't want to look you in the eyes because they're doing something wrong. You can tell a lot about talking to a person and looking them right in the eye. Like they say when you go for a job or something, look the guy in the eye so he knows that you're not lying about what you're saying. And I believe what he just told you about that old man and the baby. I told you before, when little Josie would come in the room, she'd lost her father because they divorced or whatever. She had Allie, but she was, I don't know how she is now, but you know, you need both your parents, and you do too. You're missing your mom. Anyway, I was at Alan Rosemary's, I told you before, I think, and they came in the door with little Josie. She was only 3 when Allie was with them. But she looked around like this, come in the door because she's scared, like little Lukey when he comes in. And then like that, and then she looked over at this table where I was, and she looked at me, and then her eyes just got bright like, and he put her down. As soon as he put her down, she went right around through the people and came right over to me. And also, one of the other babies, you can tell, and babies can tell. That's what I try to tell you, like when you see them 3 babies over there. Now, I had Damien day before yesterday, and I hope I didn't give him my cold. He was laying in the little thing like they lay him, and they let him sit there, and he was looking around. And so he was being good, and Pam had one, she had one. So I took the little thing he was sitting in.
Dominic.
Yeah. So I took the little thing and I pulled him up closer to me like that, so I could take my foot and move his seat a little bit like that with my toes, because he was still being good. But I looked at him, it was, it's Brandon. I always say the wrong name. Brandon, but he's the one with the eyes wide open. One with his big brown eyes. Okay, I put him there like that, hon. I'm not kidding you. And they won't tell you probably, but they noticed it, I'm sure, and they'll start doing it now. But I brought him up close to me instead, and his little eyes are open. He's been looking around, and so I looked at him right at him, and I said, "How are you, honey? Are you okay? Grandma's boy?" I start talking to him like that, and he starts smiling. And Uncle John came in and sat down beside me over there, and I said, "Watch this, John." And so I talked to him some more, and he smiled a couple more. See, they know, but not if they're looking over here or looking over there. They're only really listening when you're looking in the eyes. You can tell everything. They know that I love them just by looking at me. And that old man, that made that baby know. And that's right there. That's why the baby wanted to go to him. He knew the old man loved him, no matter how he looked. It's true. And, like he said, he don't care which denomination you are, or which God you believe in, or if you come from, he didn't mention China. He did mention Japan, didn't he? I don't know. All the different countries, whatever you believe, that don't matter. When it gets time to die, you're going to realize that there's only one. And that minister said that to George. He said, I talk to all denominations, George, and I hear that you go to the Christian church, and that's fine. I actually am Catholic myself, but that don't matter. We're talking about, that we're about at the end here, and there's really only one God. You believe that, don't you? And I do too. He said, and everybody that comes in here that I pray with at the end, we know that there's only one God. And I keep trying to tell the kids when they go to the cemetery, like little Addison the other day. She said, "Oh, where's George? Is George in the dirt?" And I said, "No. Yeah, well, his body, the house that he lived in, gets buried in the dirt or burned or whatever they do to the body." I didn't say that to her, but it's true. Whatever, however you die. But the spirit, that person in you, that every time you start going to the drugstore and you see something you want and it's $40 and you ain't got it, you think, "Oh, I could just take that." This person in here that says, no, you do not steal. And the person that lets you know that you love someone or to kind of stay away from someone that's in his own journey, but you can't take him along on your journey, so you get away from him. That spirit that's inside you is what goes to heaven. You don't see it. You don't see it in me. You didn't see it when I was born. But I believe that Mom and Dad make the body, but God puts the soul into you and the breath into you when you're born. When you take your first breath or so, God is there. And when you die, back to heaven. How do you think you get it? How do you think you don't have it? It's that person in there. And right now, he's, like they say, Steve's not getting anywhere too much, or he drinks too much, and this and that. God knows. And sooner or later, he'll turn Steve around. Steve might be better businessman or something or other in the 50s and 60s than some guy that's already doing it at 25 that gets caught embezzling and stuff and goes to jail. You don't know. You only love the person that's inside Steve. And I do. Inside Kenny. Because Kenny, my Kenny has always been good to me, honey, but I think I can honestly say I don't think Kenny ever bought me a thing in my entire life. He doesn't buy me Christmas presents. He doesn't buy me. I never, I got them from Ken and Kathy when he was little all the while. But once he grew up, he never pays much attention to Graham. Well, he went off right away where he's at now. And I don't see him, he's been there for 7, 8 years at least. And I only hear from him if I see him at Uncle John's. But I know my Kenny loved him, and I know that he's a good person inside. And he goes to church. Maybe not the same one we do. I don't know what he goes to, but I know I think he's Catholic because Kathy changed him to Catholic. She changed my Kenny to Catholic the year before he died. But I don't care because Ken's still up in heaven where the rest of us are going once he died. And Kimmy's up there now too with George. Who would have thought George and Kimmy were going to go before me? And even my Uncle Bill. I don't know. Well, I always kind of thought my Uncle Bill would probably go before me, but because of what was wrong with him, but I never thought Kenny or George would. And George did a lot of bad things in his life because he was bipolar. I'm sure he smoked pot, and I'm sure he had several women over in Germany and every place else. I don't know what he did. But I didn't worry about that. I just worried about the person that he was when he's with me. And when he got messed up, he'd go. And I couldn't worry about it. I couldn't change it. He would learn, and then he'd be back. And in the end, I guess he has to be with God because the children and the family all loved him. Allie and Peter both say that he was the only grandfather they knew. And you do too, I guess. But, so you can go to whatever church you believe, whatever thing you want to. Well, the Bible did say not, Jesus didn't like when they were worshiping the gold. He says money and gold and stuff like that's the root to all evil. And it is. See, people got to have the money to buy the drugs. From Mr. White, you got to have the money. So money does get you into trouble if you don't know how to spend it right. But everything in the world does. There's too much and too little of everything. If you think about it, the sun is beautiful. And if you get just enough, you get a nice tan. But if you get too much, you get burnt. And, well, if you have a little bit of sand on the beach, that's good. But if you had too much sand, that would be bad. There's too much and too little of everything on the earth. And you have to just try to stay at the middle if you can. That's strive to stay alive. Too much water is bad because you get floods. Too little water and the plants all die. You ever think about that? Everything that he made in the world, you can have too much or too little. And you have to learn while you're here how much you need. And every person's got to go a different direction. God's leading you in your direction. God's trying to help Dad be a better person right now, but Dad needs to listen to some of that. I wish I could get him to. Maybe that's why I'm going to have to leave here and go over there. And I keep telling you that Maddie knows. I've never got to take her to the cemetery. Explain about George. She thinks Grandma Tyndall is still at the hospital and Grandma Tyndall's dead. They didn't tell her the truth because she said it the other day to me over there on the couch. She showed me these pictures and she said, Grandma brought me these from my great-grandma, like you, my great-grandma. These are some of her pictures that she gave to us because she's at the hospital. And I didn't say anything.
They probably just have them explain it to her.
Yeah, but they won't. They won't, so she doesn't learn. And that's the way I told you. Maybe that's why I've not got to keep her. I've only got to keep her all night one night. And the one night I got to keep her all night, we went to bed in there on the bed. And she looked up there and said, Grandma, why do you keep that picture on the wall? And so I thought to myself, I know they're not telling them nothing about church. But maybe this is why God let me keep her tonight. I'm supposed to plant the seed. Did you hear what he said? He said that. Plant that little seed in her heart, and she'll go back to it. So I said, honey, that's that's Jesus. That's God's Son. You've heard about God, haven't you, sometime? And she said, yeah. But why do you want that picture up there? I said, well, that's why. It's God's Son. But that's what it says. Little by little, she'll pick up things now. And she's going to know a little about it when the other kids go to school, talk about church or God. I bet she wonders now why her mom and dad don't. They take her to the circus. They take her to the zoo. The other kids go, and they talk about it when they come to kindergarten and to school. Or when they say about going to church Sunday and having so much fun and we had cupcakes. Don't you think that she's going to feel different because she don't know what they're talking about? I think Pete and Kelly are making a mistake there, so I don't know whether I should be going over there. But I'm worried that maybe she did go home and say something about that because they've never let me keep her all night anymore. Now, she told me she's staying with Al and Rosemary this next weekend. Well, Al and Rosemary are going to church every Sunday. They're going to her church. They're making sure they're going to heaven, but they're not going to say nothing to anybody else. I've never heard them. And Al himself went, from 9 years old till 18, 9 years or something at the seminary to be a priest. He knows a lot of stuff about in the Bible, but he don't talk to you about it, or me. And there's different religions, and there's different kind of stuff. Now, I worried about Amy. I knew Lori had something to do with it. Lori messed you guys up a lot. The last time I went with her. Now, don't you tell. Sometimes I tell you things, and then I hear it back from them. And if you don't want me to tell you, I won't. But if I do tell you, I don't want you to say anything. But, I'm trying to, before I go, to get them on the right track. And she said, we went to get her clothes. I think I told you, that lady over there. And the lady seemed to know by talking to Amber that she'd been to the Masons. And so while we were there, I said in front of that lady that me and Dad never knew. Somebody has to sponsor you for that, don't they? And she said, yeah. And I said, well, who we never found out who sponsored Amber. You have to pay a lot of money for her to go there. And I said, me and Randy never understood. Lori started to take her with her, and then we never found out who paid for all the money for her to go there. And so I don't know if it was right then or in the car when we got back out anyway, Amber said, it was one of Lori's relatives paid for them to go there. And they taught them different things, I'm sure, that we're not allowed to know. Like I told you, the book I wasn't allowed to read and that kind of stuff. But some people say it's a good organization. Well, it must be what God wanted to happen. And she told me I don't know if I told you, that she told me when the ambulances come and got her. When she fireman took a hold of her hand. They started, to get her onto the gurney thing. And she told me, don't say nothing. She'll kill me for telling anyone, okay? But you need to understand that your sister is different also, but it's what God's got in store for her. She told me this herself. She said when he took a hold of her hand to pick her up, I know I've been told before that the Masons have a different handshake that no one else will notice. But if she ever gets lost in Florida or someplace and we're not there, if she meets she can tell what kind of people, and if they touch her hand a certain way, she knows that they know she is one, and if she's in trouble, they'll help her. She said that when he helped her onto that thing, or when they come to help her, the one fireman took hold of her hand, and she said that the way he took my hand and looked at me, I put my hand the way I was supposed to, and he just looked at me, because he knew that I'm a Mason, and I knew he is. And so it's like you said, it's Catholic, Protestant, Masons. She always tells me when I ask her that it's the same as us, but it's not the same. There's all these different things, and you get to belong to one or another, but they all lead to the same God. But don't ever say that to him. Trist can't be mad. She'll never tell me again. But I think you should understand your sister more, and you heard that there this morning. And it's that's what I honestly believe. I know Amy's different that way. Her and Lori. They'd always go in the room and wouldn't let me come in, and they're reading that book. Studying their stuff, but she never told you or Dad or me anything she learned there. She still don't. Her and the lady were talking about the way they have to dress, like the 1920s. When she'd go in there, she'd have to change clothes back to like the old-fashioned clothes. And I don't know, it's like they practice more the old religion or whatever. I don't know. Just not every time, but different when they'd have their main programs and stuff. The girls all dressed in white, and I don't know how the boys dress, but the women and the men know who each other are by different things. And I've heard a long time ago that the Masons always know who each other are and will help each other forever. That's what I was told. But I always wondered, how do you know if you are one? Nobody. But I heard, but I kind of asked her, and she said, well, there's a difference in they have a certain handshake. And they're everywhere. Now there's a fireman, probably more than one, working right with Pete and them guys. And Pete wouldn't know. Pete doesn't know. And that guy probably knows Pete don't go to church. And then there's other ones that go to Catholic church, which I'll have my Kay that I love so much, and Peggy Haffa. The Haffas are all Catholic, and Kay's Catholic. My mom was Catholic, but my dad wasn't, so we weren't brought up Catholic. Actually, your grandma and grandpa them were. But then your old ones, David Brainerd, and the one that's in the encyclopedia, the first one that come to the United States, he's your relative. Well, he was a minister here at that time, but for the Christian thing. That's why they came here, to be free as Christians. And then everybody else start coming, but we accept them all. That's it. Accepting more and more now. Like he said, he mentioned the Muslims on there. They're coming over here, but sooner or later, they will change to us. We have to accept them the way they are now, because they're just being molded. Anyway, okay, Sunday's sermon's over. I listen to it, though, in the mornings if I'm here by myself. It just makes me feel better for the day. And each time, I usually ask him to accept me, because I know I do stuff wrong every day. And I talk about my neighbor over there and stuff, but I'm just kidding. I know what they do, but I'm not going to say anything. You just stay here behind the